Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Raoul, broker and owner of Real Estate here in Austin, Texas. In this video, I want to summarize the housing market, try to give you guys an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. Should you buy, should you sell, or should you just sit back and rent and ride this whole thing out? Before we talk about what's going on, let's talk about how we got here in the first place. In 2020, when the pandemic was at its height and the housing market pretty much was at a standstill because everybody was on lockdown, nobody wasn't spending money, the government did two important things to kind of get people go out there and spend, which in turn, inflation kicked in full force, I'll say. One thing they did was they printed money. They gave money out, they sent checks out, and there was a lot of people getting PPP loans. It was just a bunch of money flying everywhere. And the second thing they did was they lowered the interest rates. People was pretty much borrowing money for free, and that caused another trigger for people to, as far as like if you was on the end of the seller and I can raise my prices, whether that be gas, food, housing itself, across the board, and inflation really kicked in and brought us to the point where it went out of control, and we're here to the point where the Feds raised the rates to a all-time high pretty much. So that brings us to today. Now that we're seeing the market correct itself, back in, I would say earlier this year, we were seeing overbids and people were just going crazy with the housing market. And I made a couple of videos about this, like, hey, what are you doing? You're not necessarily going to benefit for this. Just take one change in the market and here you are upside down. Now, if you are a seller today, what should you expect if you were to try to go and put your house on the market today? I would say this: be patient. Be patient and understand your profit wants versus your profit needs. If you bought that house years ago and you just waited till this fiasco of crazy house bidding over and stuff like that played out, and you're trying to put your house on the market, you're not going to see the same kind of reaction that people did earlier this year. It's going to sit on the market for a decent amount of time, especially when you look at the competition. Inventory is going up. Builders are even dropping their prices. And now here you are with a home, say about 2 or 3 years old, and you have a new construction just hitting the market, bigger, better, more rooms and all that good stuff. It's still coming on the market lower than what you were expecting to sell your home that's 3 years old today. Now, if you were a buyer, not only you have resale homes on the market and you have the new construction home on the market, but you're also fighting this high interest rate. The high interest rate is ultimately what's going to price you out of that neighborhood. And if you compare that to the rent today, even though the rates are high, compare that house that you would rent in that same neighborhood that you're looking at, I guarantee you should be within $100 to $300 difference of your mortgage versus your rent. Landlords know the housing market is doing what it's doing right now, and they know a lot of buyers that's sitting on the fence right now and they're not trying to pull that trigger and purchase a home, so it's pushing them to rent. And with that being said, the supply and demand, okay, let's raise that rent. If you can get in a house and you can own that house versus renting, I would do it. Even if it's $500 more than what the rent is right now, I would do it, especially if you're in a position, meaning you got your credit right, that means you got your debt to income, you got your down payment and closing costs, you're just ready to pull the trigger on the house that fits your basic needs, I'll say. So in closing, what to expect for the rest of the year? Absolutely nothing. If anything, the rates will go up a little bit more. The houses is still going to increase that's coming on the market. The inventory is going to be up there. But at the same time, I would not wait. I would not sit back and wait for the rates to drop, because what you're doing right now is just putting yourself in the thick of everything when coming when everybody else is doing the same thing as you. So it's going to be more competition. And guess what? The housing prices, yes, they're going down, but they're not going to stay down. Once that competition and that supply and demand goes on, you're going to be looking at the same boat earlier this year. Maybe not the crazy overbidding, but definitely you're not going to have those incentives thrown at you as you would if you was to go ahead and try to get something today. So I hope to help break the market down in its current form as it sits today. Again, my name is Raoul, broker in Austin, Texas. If you're in the area, need any assistance, my information is below. See you next video. Thanks.